Hey everyone, so I wanted to go through Polkadot today and take a look at where we are in the current market cycle and have a look at the market conditions for, where the key levels of support and resistance are directly above us and below us, so you can stay on the right side of the market. Now, I also want to know down below, do you hold any Polkadot? Where do you see this coin going in 2022? Have you sold it? Do you still hold some? I really like to know what you guys are doing down below in the comment section. So let me know down below before we get started and we'll get straight into the video. Now, if you actually have a look at Polkadot, and it actually looks like a much more volatile version of Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is you look at the chart patterns, they look nearly almost identical, where we had the massive run up in 2020 into early 2021, had this almost distribution phase, which was really similar as well, created a few higher highs, crashed back down, made our move back up into November, took out the all-time high, almost like a fake out, and then moved straight back down in a very similar downtrend, but still stayed above our lows that we were back in last May. And that's exactly where Bitcoin is at the moment. So I think just something as a side note to take note of is just keep an eye on Bitcoin and, see if that kind of mirrors what Polkadot is doing. Something definitely to keep an eye on. Marking out the key areas on Polkadot, you can see that we are currently, in between two key zones, and the zone above us that we really need to get above for any bullish market structure to resume is just over this area over here at $27 at this red band. And you can see that we've had key flips of support and resistance over here before, where we've either sprung higher or we've pushed lower. So that's really the main area that you want to be looking out for, which is about $27. And then below us, we've obviously got this $14 region over here, where we've seen big spikes and buy a step in before. We're somewhere in the middle of the range, okay? But I would say that at the minute it's a little bit uncertain, because we do have like a Fed meeting with interest rates and stuff, which I'm not exactly sure what direction the market is going to go in, but I am pretty sure that that's going to bring some volatility in the market. So just be aware that maybe after this news does hit, or when volatility resumes back into the market, that these are the key levels that you want to be looking out for, is over here at about $14 and $27 if we move to the upside, okay? Anything lower than $14, and I think that we move lower. Okay, so I don't think we get to 27 by moving down here and then moving straight back up. I don't think that is the most likely scenario. I would be looking at any upside to pause at 27, and anything below $14, you're looking at about $10 to revisit the May lows that we reached last year, as the next key area of support and areas of value to be adding into. And in the event of some sort of massive capitulation, which we are very far from, obviously the next level below that is somewhere at around $6 or $7, but we don't need to be talking about that when we are currently lurking at about $18. Now, those are the key areas that we want to look out for, and Polkadot tends to respect a lot of horizontal support resistance, pretty nicely, and have some pretty nicely defined ranges. But the other thing that I wanted to draw your attention to was actually the Fibonacci EMAs. And what you can see that we've had in the past before is we've had 4 crossovers, both to the upside and to the downside. And every time that we've had a crossover where basically the faster moving averages, so like the 8 and the 21, the 34, etc., okay, move above or below the 55, that tends to mark, key momentum shifts in the market. And, that trend seems to continue for about, 4 to 12 weeks thereafter, where we had a big cross over here back in November 20. That was to the upside, which basically resulted from $5 into $50. We had our cross over here back last May. That, resulted in a big move to the downside. We had the cross back up, okay, back in early August, late July last year as well. And that resulted in another big move to the upside. And then we had back in late November another cross, which basically sent us down to the downside. So I guess what I'm telling you to look out for is maybe it's a little bit premature at the minute to be getting into any long positions or for any real market clarity. If we do get a move to the upside on Polkadot, maybe look for a similar kind of pattern to occur to basically put the probabilities in your favor and give you a little bit more confirmation that if we do get these Fibonacci EMAs crossing the 55 and we get that crossover to the upside again, maybe that occurs sometime in the next month or so. If it does, that might be a long signal for you, or a signal for you to tell you that, right, maybe we're moving higher, at least to that next resistance zone of about like 27. And obviously anything above $27, you're looking at challenging these highs over here at about $50. So maybe wait for that crossover here, but until that happens, for me, the bias still has to be to the downside, as it is with Bitcoin, because so long as these moving averages are pushing us down and we're in a downtrend, we don't have any information on the charts at the moment to tell us that that trend is going to change anytime soon. As we're about halfway through the video, it would be really greatly appreciated if you can drop me a like down below. You know, that really helps me out and gives me a sign and a signal that you want me to carry on doing these videos to help you stay on the right side of the market. Subscribe, hit the bell icon as well if you haven't done that already. And without further ado, let's crack on. Taking a look at Bitcoin, you can see that we've got some pretty nice similar defined ranges that we do in the USD chart, but you know, these areas are really going to give us confluence into where to enter and exit price and give us some more confidence with where things are going. So that's why you need to be keeping on track of where your altcoins are versus Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's really what takes your charting up to the next level, in my opinion. Okay, but you can see that we've got an area above us at about 5,500 Satoshis, which is a big resistance area above us. Okay, and we've got an area below us at about, you know, 3,500, somewhere in that level, and below that we've even got some at about 3,000 as well. So those are the areas that we want to be looking out for. Now the red bands and the green bands, what I want you to do is just see if you can find some kind of confluence in these zones with, you know, prices that we spoke about a little bit earlier. So for example, you might find that from here, if we do get another 15-20% push up into this red band over here, you might find that that's quite confluent with that $27 mark. So like I said, if we reach $27, we've got resistance on the USD chart. You're likely to find the similar kind of resistances on the Bitcoin chart as well. So, you know, I just want you to be aware of that. And, you know, if we do move lower into lower prices, you're typically going to get, you know, quite a lot of confluence with these zones as well, I would imagine. So, you know, any kind of like $10-11 zone, I imagine that, you know, we tend to revisit some of these areas at 3,500. So yeah, that's basically the, you know, the way that I'd be looking at Bitcoin. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you about is I do trade order blocks, which basically means, if you don't know what that means, is basically areas of price that essentially break market structure and move on to the next level. So what that means is over here, you can see that we've got some market structure over here where we got some lows back in December 20. We came down and corrected, and then we sprung back out and took out this high over here that you can see at about 3,300 Satoshis. We haven't quite revisited this area, okay? So I do like to see order blocks get retested on higher timeframes at some point. So just be aware that if we do get some kind of capitulation or big move down and it's not to the upside, okay, that I do think this is a really, really good area of value for Polkadot to be buying. Polkadot is going to be somewhere over here at about anywhere between really 3,500 Satoshis down to like 2,500 Satoshis, I think would be a really good area to be buying into. So like I said, that's just something that I'm keeping an eye on, an order block that we haven't quite retested. Taking a look at Ethereum, this is pretty nice because we marked out these key levels down here at about 6,500 or you know, 0.0065 ETH, and I've left all these levels in since the last time we looked, and you can see that we've got really nice reactions from here, and we want altcoins that basically perform better in some stages of the market versus Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that oscillate them, okay, in terms of price. We don't want one to just completely go down trending, right? So we do get some oscillations with Polkadot, which is quite nice, but you know, the way that you want to look at this is, like I said, these are areas of value to add into. We are creating currently lower highs on the Ethereum chart. However, you know, if we do get a run up from here and we get some sort of spring up, look for some key support resistance zones over here at about 0.016 ETH, where you can potentially look to rotate some of this back into Ethereum. And that's what you want to be constantly doing with your altcoins. Is, in my opinion, you should be rotating them back into Ethereum and Bitcoin and playing the cycles, and that's how you profit from them. Because remember, we're holding altcoins to outpace all the major markets. Otherwise, why are you taking on more risk if you are not looking for more upside? So that's the way to do that. Obviously, if Bitcoin does move lower and shits the bed and we do get another leg lower in the market, then expect some of these lows at about 0.06 ETH to be taken out. But until that happens, we're still sitting at support and waiting for DOT to maybe make another big push up to its next level higher. So I hope you got some value out of the video. Like the video if you haven't already. Hopefully that gave you something to think about, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video.